Welcome to day 8 of SICSS-Howard Mathematica. I am so excited to see everyone's beautiful faces this morning as we head into the home stretch for our program. We have just a few more days together. Can you believe that we've been at this since the 12th of June? The 25th is right around the corner. So I want to start our morning with the usual reminders, but also spend a little time with you thinking about where we've been. So our question for the morning to get us started is a one that I find fun. So we want to know your least favorite food. So what food makes you recoil in horror? Ones I do usually see are things like tomatoes. There's a few folks out there who have response to what is it? It's not parsley. It's cilantro. Some people feel that cilantro tastes like soap. And then another one, okra is another one. These are all foods that I like, but let us know what your least favorite food is. What food makes you recoil in horror? And then also we're looking for humble brags. So please, if things are going well, got in some reps at the gym, got some good sleep last night, published a paper, became full professor over the weekend, whatever good is happening. I see Ebony laughing. She became full professor over the weekend. So, whatever good is happening, let us know. Okay, let us know. So some reminders for the morning: be who you are and how you are. Whoever you are is enough. Arrive in this space as you are, and you are welcome here. What you have to give and the questions you bring to the table are enough. Take care of your biological, technological, psychological, spiritual, dance, whatever you need to do today. I think you saw me crunching some pretzels when Chris Wheat was on camera last night. Please take care of yourself. You need a break, take it. You should eat whenever you need to. Everyone here is a student, no matter what is on your business card. Even if you became full professor over the weekend, you are still a student. So just, it's okay to fall back and ask for help. It's okay to step up if you feel like you know something. Just be you, okay? Set your personal intention for today. What are you trying to accomplish today? Yesterday is over. Don't stress about tomorrow. We'll get there. Start thinking about what your personal intention is for the day. Think about how you want to be in your group or in your solo work, and own that and hold that up and believe again that is enough. Okay. Remember, we have TAs floating around to help you. So if there's something you don't understand, you can start with, I was not able to install that properly on the first day. Can you help me? What is this R thing? It is still okay to do that. Okay. So the TAs are here to help you. Please reach out. You have the schedule for TA availability. Reach out for your R needs, your Stata needs, your Python needs, or for more complex topics, okay? Whatever you need, okay? I'm calling full professor for all of us. I'm calling that into existence. There's some of us who aren't even like, I've got a few years to go, but it's gonna happen. Full professor, everyone gets full professor, like Oprah said. You get full professor, everybody gets full professor, if that's what you want. You want something else? I wish that for you too, okay? All right, so before we get started, I want to just take a minute and remind you where you have been, okay? You started here with Praxis to Power on the 12th, and you went along for a ride with us that did not exist at any other site. We talked to you about the challenges of being a Black academic or an academic of color. We challenged you to think about your own intentions. We challenged you to center yourself daily, to breathe, and we also gave you a chance to buttress your R skills and to get to know each other. Okay. We also had a fabulous faculty panel where no holds barred conversations with Howard faculty, as well as recent graduates who are at PWIs, who talked to us about their experience in the academy. On day 1, we jumped into ethics. On day 2, we started our content. Let's see, I got to pull up my schedule here to make sure I say this right, because there's so much we've learned, right? I've done this now more than once, and I'm like, wow, let me go back and check. What did we learn? Okay, so on Monday we did ethics, which has been part of our path. The entire time we've been here, we've been asking ethical questions. Day 2 was collecting digital trace data. Did you even think that when you got here that you'd be able to do some of the things that you did with Twitter or Reddit or Instagram with the help of our TAs, right? On Wednesday, we did automated text analysis. Did you even know what that was when you got here? Some of you were like, I do that in my professional. Other people were like, what? I'm still trying to figure out R from the weekend. Think about that. You you know, at the very least, the big picture of these things, right? I told you I did this a second time because I just let it wash over me the first time and I was trying to go deep this time. Think about that. Even if you didn't know what it was, you have been exposed to and know where to go and who to ask questions of to work on this if you want to introduce it into your research. Then on Thursday, we did surveys in the digital age. Thursday was a little clunky. MTurk was there, then it went away, but you learned some stuff, right? And then Friday was fragile families. And we're going to post the results of that. By the way, some of our teams did pretty well across all teams. Some of our teams did pretty well. So we're going to let you know about how fragile families went. But at the very least, if you'd never used that data set before, you now are exposed to a data set that you can use in your research. There's also about 30 other data sets that you have access to now through Princeton that you didn't have access to before. And then this week, and then Friday, we did mass collaboration and machine learning. And this week, you've spent some time thinking about what type of research you might want to do in coordination with your cohort mates, or if you might want to spend some time buttressing your skills. This week, we offered a second track not available at other sites for you to choose your own adventure and do what was best for you. I think, and I've mentioned this before, one of the reasons why group work can sometimes turn into people, quote unquote, free riding is when we don't give people a chance to choose what's best for them. So we have different value propositions sometimes in these spaces, and we want to give you a chance to do what's best for you. So we'll be talking a little bit about that as we head into talking about our activities for the day. But before we do that, I have a few announcements. So first, reminder about our 90 Seconds of Fame room. The lovely Miss Akira, who will be talking to you in a few minutes, was Vice President Mathematica, did our first 90 Seconds of Fame. That video is now up, so you get a sense of what we're trying to do. So we'd love to get 90 Seconds of Fame videos from everyone. So please, if you have not already done that, go ahead and reach out to Ava. I believe she's DM'd everybody on Slack, and schedule a time so we can hear your story from within the SICSS-Howard Mathematica experience. I want to remind you, we're going to drop this in the chat box. If you have not signed up for office hours with one of our speakers or Q&A with one of our lunchtime bite-sized talks, please do that. We still have open slots. I think you know by now that it's at a certain point it becomes a free-for-all. So if anyone has questions, you're welcome to do that. But it's great to have somebody who's committed to watch the video and come with questions related to the content. Love that. So however it unfolds in our space is good enough and is perfect for the time. So whether we talk about their career or the topic, the contents of the video, that's fine, but it's great to have folks who watch the video. Today, we have a special lunchtime roundtable. We've had 3 live. This will be our 3rd live roundtable by one of our sponsors, Mathematica. So Akira, when I turn it over to her for a little bit of inspiration, she's also going to tell you about that roundtable later this afternoon. I'm hoping to see all your beautiful, brilliant black faces for that later on today. They have gone above and beyond in supporting our work with TAs, and they have also made a significant financial contribution to this endeavor. So I'm excited to introduce you to their exceptional work. You've seen that already, you've interacted with the TAs, but you have a treat ahead of you. So Akira's going to tell you about that a little bit in a second. We want to remind you again to sign up for Naomi Sugi is visiting us tonight. You read about her in Bit by Bit. If you're drawing a blank on her name, I'll remind you that she did a study on recently incarcerated individuals and gave them cell phones that included regular surveys and tracking. So she's going to come and talk to us about that, as well as the experience of maybe working on something that is allowed policy-wise at the time that you did it, but over time may not be. So she did a bit of a talk back to us about that project in her video, and she's excited to talk more about it. So if you don't remember her work, go back to the textbook. You've got the one in front of you that we gave you, but you can look at Matt's version online and do a quick search for her and read up a little bit about her. Just take you a few minutes. And let's see, I want to remind you about the SICSS Festival. Also, that's going on all this week. We're going to drop the link to that in the chat box. Reminder that Chris Bale is doing a session on how to set up your own SICSS site, how to put in an application to host a SICSS site. So this year there are 23. They get far more than 23 applications, but they chose 23. So how do you become one of those people now that you're in the SICSS family that hosts or joins a site? Some people decide, they're like, you know what, Brazil looks good. I'm going to join the Brazil site next year. Or sometimes people will found new sites. So that's what happened here at Howard Mathematica, because we had these two amazing partners. So you may want to attend that. That's on Thursday, 10:30 to 11. So that fits perfectly after our morning session. So you'll have a chance to go to that if you'd like. So we're going to do a quick retrospective on Keep, Start, Stop. I'm guessing a lot of you missed that in Slack last night, so I'll remind you to fill out the Keep, Start, Stop. At the end of the day, you will be able to tell that most of you did not see it when I show you, when we review that right now. So Amber, can you go ahead, or Ava, can you go ahead and screen share, and we'll take a quick look at our Keep, Start, Stop from yesterday. All right, so day 7, what went well? Keep. Lots of group work time. Done. We'll continue that. There you go. Start. Drop links in Slack. We can also pin things to channel, which might be helpful, so we don't have to scroll up and search every time. We will work on pinning for you. We have been trying to put all the hyperlinks in Slack. I think we have, but we'll keep an eye out and try and do better. So if there's something you feel like is missing, please feel free to put it up, but we will also try our best to make sure everything is up. Okay, next one. Stop. Nothing. Love to see that, but love feedback. So please definitely let us know if there's things we can stop. You'll also get a survey at the end of this, so we get your feedback on everything. And then finally, anything else? Nothing. Again, I think y'all may have missed seeing this last night. Just a feeling based on the feedback. So it's we'll post it a little bit earlier. As you know, we don't have our evening debrief daily. We're here all day if you have questions. So we'll need you to find that in Slack and go ahead and fill it out. We'll try and send an email also going forward to make sure you see it, because we want to make sure we hear from you about what you think. All right, let's see. I missed, oh, there we go. I lost my notes. Just found them. All right. And then finally, let's see. Notes. All right. So we're going to look ahead very briefly, talk about our day, and then we'll get some inspiration from Akira, and we'll jump into talking about your teams, funding, and the questions I imagine you have about how we're going to spend our time for the rest of this week. So if you have questions related to your teams or funding, we will touch upon those in our introduction of the day, which will happen after I review the schedule. We get our inspiration from Akira, and she'll also talk about Mathematica. I see that hand, Yandu, and we got 2 questions from you in Slack, and we got you. All right, so let's talk about the schedule really quickly for the day, so everybody's in the same place. Wednesday. Not automated text analysis, that was last week. Let's see, Wednesday. Okay, so today, as always, Mathematica TAs are available via email for consultation on your projects and also on your individual needs as it comes to to Stata, R, and Python. Please drop the link to the TAs in the chat box. That is also in Slack. So we have a schedule there, their availability and email addresses, so feel free to reach out. As I mentioned, I would reach out early so that you can build a relationship with people and meet with them. You're welcome to come here, meet with them in Zoom or schedule with them also. So 10 to 10:30 logistics, still on time. 10:30 to 12, you're working on your group or individual projects today. 12 to 1, live Mathematica roundtable, which Akira is going to tell you about in just a second. 1 to 4, you're going to work on your group projects, and then 4 to 5:30 is Naomi Sugi. So we have live Q&A from 4 to 5, and then 5 to 5:30 we have office hours. We know that you all are doing double duty right now with working on your projects. So I have to tell you that last night when you all asked every single question that you wanted, and when we headed into office hours, when things were a little light, that our speaker was very excited to regain his time so that he could go and spend time with his children. So if we don't have people sign up for office hours, we'll just go ahead and cancel those. Not a big deal. You can ask and reach out to folks for after the fact if you don't have time for office hours this week because you're working on projects. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Akira for some inspiration and also to tell us a little bit about Mathematica's Roundtable today. Take it away, Akira.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm first going to say this is probably the first time I felt safe, thank you, Kimberly Baxter, to admit I don't like potato salad either. And my grandmother was the one who had to be the one to make, as she said, potato salad. So thank you for giving me company, because I was never able to admit that I don't like potato salad. But I don't know who those of you are who don't like okra. I don't get that. You haven't had some good stew or gumbo or something. Something's missing for you. But anyway, before I start, I want to invite you just for a moment, those of you who do not have your camera on, to turn your camera on for a second, if you would. I get energy from seeing you, but more than that, we as a community have been overlooked and unheard for way too long. And I want you to embrace owning your space, being seen, being heard, and having a voice. And that's because that's a lot of what this is about. So I want to invite you to turn your camera on, if you will. Thank you. And those of you who don't, no harm, no foul, it's okay. I get it. Sometimes it's not that day for us. I personally do take camera off days occasionally. I wanted to just talk to you a little bit. I am going to touch on the career panel, but I want to talk to you about pathways. I'm going to share a little bit about my own. And hopefully you get a sense of why this program is very personal for me. I am probably the least degreed, I'm sure I'm the least degreed person in this room. I have an undergraduate degree in operations research, African American studies, and economics. And at the time, no one really could help me figure out what I could do with all of those three things. So I went into industry and not graduate school. Looking back, I wish I had gone to graduate school, but I did not. But it was a wonderful time for me to go into technology. I did a lot of work in corporations, Fortune 500, Global 100 companies, and had a lot of great technological experiences in doing so, but I never found my home. I never found the work that was personally important to me. Until actually I came to Mathematica. And I was actually looking at some nonprofit companies as alternatives. And Mathematica represented a way for me to bridge my personal interests with my technological and career goals. And I invite you guys to think about, and it doesn't need to be at Mathematica, please. This is not a pitch necessarily for Mathematica. We're not here to bring you to Mathematica, although if you're interested, we'll talk. The goal is for you to have resources and access. Throughout my entire career, there weren't many people who looked at like me, of color, women, whatever. It's a lonely space sometimes. And then as a CIO, even lonelier in that demographic. This program, when Matt Segalnik came to me and asked, would Mathematica be willing to host and sponsor a location in DC? It wasn't without a few seconds that I thought it needed to be at an HBCU audience. And the reach over to President Frederick was an immediate yes. And the proposal to my CEO, Paul, without a blink, was an immediate yes. And it's because of the type of company that we are. And you'll hear a little bit about this afternoon. We are not a corporation. We are an employee-owned business, which is very different. That means we're staff-driven, and we do the work that's personally important to us. So when I brought this opportunity and Paul immediately said yes, I knew I was at the right place. The magic happens for you when you're doing work that's personally important to you and you're supported in doing so. And that's what I encourage all of you to find. So what we've tried to do in talking to you this afternoon with the roundtable is bring to you a lot of different experiences. Some have grown up at Mathematica, but the majority are new and have had experiences elsewhere. You'll hear someone who came to us from community activism and organization. You'll hear an academic who's been a professor. You'll hear somebody who's come to us as an immigrant and has different expectations of what she can do. You'll hear a few different voices and a few different pathways. What I invite you to do is ask them how they found their path. Ask them why they landed at Mathematica. How do they find that personal magic for themselves? So that help you find what it is. We're also interested in hearing from you. We hope that you are the first of many cohorts coming through this program. And quite honestly, the question I got asked yesterday was, how do we bring this program to more places? So at least the experiences and your energy and everything that you're getting out of the program that's being as experienced from our TAs is resonating. And it's wanting Mathematica, it's asking Mathematica to do more with this. So I am interested if people feel like they want to do this somewhere else. Let's hear about it. Because the goal is to bring resources to more people, to more diverse populations who aren't getting it. Why? Because it's more important that people with unique experiences and voices are at tables and decision-making places where social programs and policy and agency decisions are being had and made, right? So the more we can proliferate that, whether you do it at Mathematica, you do it at academia, you do it at one of our competitors, doesn't matter to me. The win is in the voice being heard and each of you being seen. So I hope I will see you today at lunchtime. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys and your questions.
Please, I have to share with, I can't remember who the person in the room is who runs triathlons, but Akira is a triathlete.
Who is it?
Who's the person who's the triathlete? There's somebody. Kimberly's like, not me. Was it Meredith? It may have been Meredith. So we have, I wanted to introduce you. We had a couple triathletes in the room. I know Akira's got a race coming up too, right, Akira?
I do. I'm actually driving down to Williamsburg this afternoon, this weekend. 75 Black women will be descending in Virginia to represent and take over a triathlon event. We are less than typically 1% of triathletes. And a few of us have gotten together and we are decided we are showing up from all over the country in Williamsburg, Virginia.
And Todd is in Virginia. He's at UVA.
Hey, what's up?
So we've got, we're so excited to continue this conversation with you this afternoon, Akira. Just your leadership and your dedication and your investment in the existence of let me point in the right direction. At SICSS-Howard Mathematica is this, there would be no this without Akira. Her, I admire you so much, and you all, you need to be at this event this afternoon. Amazing contacts at Mathematica. I think you see that already in the investment that they've made. So thank you all. And we'll see you a little bit later, Akira.
Yes.
And have a nice afternoon.
And if you guys need anything, I think you have my contact information. Don't hesitate to reach out. I would absolutely love to hear from you guys.
We'll drop it in the chat box. Amanda, can you get Akira's a direct email into the chat box for us? And don't worry, everyone, we'll take time and make sure we answer all your questions on research.
There you go.
There you go. abell@mathematica-mpr.com.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Akira. All right. Continue. All right. So we are going to go over funding and also announce our teams and groups. And we want to make sure if there are any corrections that need to be made that we make those now. So we're clear on how everyone is spending their time. So we'll announce our teams, we'll talk about funding, and we'll leave as much time as needed for questions. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my little spreadsheet here. And for folks that we did not hear from this morning, you got an email to confirm that you are working on a solo project as opposed to an individual project. Sorry, solo project, individual project as opposed to a group project. All right, so we'll start with our teams. So we have one solo project so far, and if there's a correction, just drop it in the chat box and we'll work on updating it in our spreadsheet. So right now we've got Swazik doing a solo project. We emailed you to ask about details. We have Meredith doing a solo project. Same, emailed you about details. Ebony, Iorinde, Abiodun, same, solo project this week, emailed you about details. Regis, solo project, hashtag BLM and conceptions of the good life future possibilities. Then we have our first group project, which is Maxine and Kimberly, Sentiment Dictionary Other AAVE tools for language analysis. Then we have another team of Marissa, Yesh, and Nicole doing text analysis of the Crown Act on Black Twitter. We have Felix doing a solo project, text analysis of policing narratives. We have, we're not sure, Erica and Elaine, you didn't make your names read, so we weren't sure if you were moving forward with your project. Please confirm. Social factors in COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy, race, religion, immigration status, and political orientation. Drop a note in the chat box to confirm that you are going to be a group. Then we have 3 people, Janira, Jeremy, and Todd, doing scraping publicity available data to understand school resource officers' records or effects, TBD. We have Richmond. We think you're doing, Richmond confirmed solo project. Yandu, Troy, Regina, Rashun doing how will the increased use of technology in healthcare context, example, telehealth algorithms, software to aid diagnosis, affect the accuracy of pain perception and pain intensity in Black Americans? Ibukun, we think you're doing a project with Benjamin. Benjamin, that may also be a solo project. Computational analysis of impact of policies on representation of immigrant population in STEM in the United States. That looks like, yeah, is that a, okay. So please confirm with us in the chat box. For those of you who have opted to do solo work this week or a solo project, make sure you send us an email so we can support you and connect you with resources. So for some people, that's investing time in R or Stata or reviewing bootcamp videos, or it could be a solo research project. So are there any questions or updates on solo projects? There is no solo funding right now. So right now we are still focused on group funding. We're going to talk about that in a second. Solo has not been the SICSS model so far. Don't know if that'll change, but I would not rely on solo funding at this point. And please go ahead and send any questions you have to the entire group for us to answer. Okay, great. Okay, so we see Abiodun is with Ibukun and Benjamin. So event staff, can you update our spreadsheet with stuff? Thank you. All right, are there any questions about the teams before I go into funding? Any corrections for teams, please drop in the chat box. All right, so we'll go over funding as it currently stands, which is funding has been made available as of today. Well, not as of today, but for now, what we know is funding is available. I love it when my document shuts down so I can't see my notes. There we go. So as of right now, we have one funding source. I expect we will have 2. But as of right now, we have one funding source, which is through SICSS umbrella. It's open up to all 23 sites. I will go over what I emailed you this morning and put on Slack also. All right, so general funding announcement. Pleased to announce that we will once again be offering funding for research projects created at our event this year. Pay attention to that. This message provides more information about the funding process and how you can apply and who is eligible to apply. This is not the final version of the funding announcement. The final version will be posted at SSRC, one of our funding partners, later, likely within a few weeks. All right. Research funding is limited to participants in the 2021 Summer Institutes in Computational Social Science. What that means is that if there are people from previous sites, like for instance, anybody that I worked with in 2019, if they are not somehow affiliated now with a site, cannot be part of your funding application. So they want people from this year. So projects from this year. If your research ideas have evolved to include people who did not participate in our institute, this is okay, provided that at least 2 of the people on the research team are SICSS 2021 alumni, okay? Also, funding is only available for projects in which SICSS alumni will take a leadership role. So if, let's say, you know, your faculty mentor back at your university is nudging you like, hey, I heard you got access to funding. You need to be the lead. You are the PI. So when we say PI, and thank you for that question, Yandu, we are elevating all of you to PI status. Okay, so when we think about who is getting the funding here, it is you. So if you are a grad student, guess what? You're a PI. Now your university may have other expectations for you, but you know, we're giving you the money directly, and you are the PI. Okay, so we want to give you a chance, and SICSS tries to give its alumni a chance, present company included, to take on significant leadership roles in the academic space. So PI does not, you do not have to have a PhD to be a PI in this space. Okay, you just need to be the first author of the project or lead developer of a new tool. So what type of funding is available? Funding is available to run surveys, pay for cloud computing, websites, app hosting costs, purchase data, support other research costs. You know, if you're using MTurk, you could be paying people. So funds will be dispersed via the Social Science Research Council to the principal investigator of the grant, okay? So that would be you. How much funding is available? Project budgets for this program typically range between 200 and to 2,500. I'd mentioned to you that I have a friend from my site that got 6,000. I wouldn't count on that. 200 to 2,500 seems to be what they give. In rare cases, we may consider funding at higher levels, okay? Particularly if applications involve a large number of applicants from the SICSS community or may create some other type of common good. So I want to remind you that we are one of 23 sites, and I've seen a few of you have posted your projects more publicly around Slack, but you know, you can recruit folks or look for folks that are interested in this work at other sites to be involved also. What tends to happen is it tends to be siloed at the site. So you tend to see a paper come out of like the Princeton 2019 group, which some of the papers you saw are from my year that are listed in this funding call. But we welcome you to reach out to others. Added complexity in bringing in someone you've never met before who may have a different approach, but you know, up to you all. As long as the majority of people, at least 2 people are from SICSS 2021, you're good. How will proposals be evaluated? Funding decisions will be made on a rapid basis by members of the SICSS leadership team in consultation with SICSS organizers like me, current and former. So if organizers are part of the teams that apply for funding, these organizers will not be consulted for funding recommendations. Sadly, I cannot give a recommendation for myself if I put in a proposal. Proposals will be evaluated according to several principles in no particular order. The importance of the project to computational social science, the quality of the research design proposal, the benefit to the broader SICSS community. Successful proposals need to address each of these dimensions. Again, this is an email and also on Slack. Priority is given to projects that stand to benefit larger groups of people inside or outside the SICSS community. Remember, our focus is anti-Black racism and inequity. You can choose another focal point, but that is sort of the expressed hope of our location. As organizers like myself and others look at these, we're looking for great proposals, though. So you know, don't feel that you have to do that if there's some other group you're interested in working on. Let's see. Successful proposals need not address each of these dimensions. Priority is given to projects that stand to benefit large communities. Okay. We're also strongly encourage you to pre-register your hypotheses if your project involves answering an empirical research question. All right, how to apply for funding, to submit a proposal. The link's not working yet. It will be posted. And you need to secure a login ID and such and a password. So completed applications are due by August 16th. So you have time. So you have the TAs at your disposal this week. Again, I would build those relationships early. I can't guarantee that they will continue to make themselves available after the fact. Hopeful, fingers crossed. Again, ask and you shall receive. Let us know in the keep, stop, start. We can always put in a request to Mathematica. The TAs are compensated; they're paid for their time. So that's something that we would have to budget for. So if you want that, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, please ask for that. Whatever you need, ask for it. We will try our best to give it. Completed applications must be submitted by August 16th. You need to prepare a few things, some things which we're hoping that the process we have set in place for you to complete for your presentation will help you. So they're looking for a brief description, only 125 characters, an abstract of no more than 200 words, written for a non-specialist audience, clearly explaining the project's principal focus, questions, and expected results, a biographical sketch for the principal investigator. I would potentially include at least the names of other people involved and their SICSS affiliations. Also there to make it very simple for them to know that. An itemized budget with budget narrative, no more than 1 to 2 pages, and brief details about other sources of funding or support for the project, including pending proposals. If you need some help thinking about that section, how you might look for other funds, I'm a bit of a whiz with finding funding. I will own that. I'm very proud of that. Something I'm very proud of. I'm happy to talk to you about other places you can look. I found in my own applications that being able to say somebody else supports this, even if it's $200 or $300 or in-kind things, someone has agreed to give me a computer, that goes a long way. So I'm happy to come and talk to you or your team about that if helpful. Additional applicants should be prepared to provide brief responses to contribution to computational social science, methodology, and timeline. So again, most of those things are things that we have talked about, should be in your presentation on Friday. If you need some help or want to talk through that, I put together quite a few funding proposals. I'm happy to talk about that. All research projects, this is a Yandu question, all research projects must receive approval from IRB of the university or universities associated with the lead researcher on each team. So, if you throw in an application and you're like, I need to meet with a bunch of people and poke them, we need to make sure we cover IRB, right? So we're not gonna be like, oh, you just handle that later. We're giving you time here so that those are things that you can start to work out. So if you've never done an IRB proposal before, that's something we might be able to provide support for if people have questions. Again, ask and you shall receive. We could probably have somebody in to give a general IRB proposal discussion if needed. You may want to choose your lead researcher thoughtfully. There is someone who put together an IRB proposal that covered 4 universities and multiple countries. That ish was complicated. You want to choose that lead researcher carefully, because usually other schools will acknowledge and allow. So that's not a technical way of explaining it, not a lawyer. But they will allow, so there's a strategy and a thoughtfulness with that. Again, happy to talk to you about that as someone who's put together the world's most complicated IRB proposal. All right, so as far as I know, these funds are, I don't know the answer to distributed to the university of the individual. I will follow up on that question that I just saw. My guess is the individual. But because they want to do this rapidly, and I think as soon as you get institutions involved, and you're like, well, what percent is 90%? Really, your university sponsored program wants 90%? I have a feeling it's going to the individual. So I will follow up and make sure, individual or university. I will follow up on that. And there's some examples of projects emerging from SICSS. I'll highlight the first. My classmate from SICSS Princeton, Catherine McCabe, is on that. She is a faculty member at Rutgers, and she's running a site right now. I would also, Tiago Ventura is also from SICSS 2019 Princeton. He is also running a site right now. I don't think I recognize anybody else on any of the other papers. No. So okay, so those are some examples if you want to look at the types of things that tend to come out of this. So I think I'm going to breathe. I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions either in the chat box, or if people want to unmute and ask questions, we can do that too.
Hi everyone, I have a couple of questions. So my intentions for this week are to work solo on my project, but also I'm interested in connecting with, I saw a couple of projects folks designated as long-term. So I'm just confused if the long-term folks are focusing on the short-term rapid funding for this week, or if they're wanting to expand this project beyond our institute, because that's what I'm interested in. So I just wanted a little bit of clarification on that and to see if that's a possibility.
So I'll share my thoughts, then I'll open the floor. The goal of listing out all the different projects was to get us to one that each person would commit themselves to for the week. Or you could choose a solo endeavor also. So we're looking for projects, and funding will happen for projects that come from those chosen ones, the ones that people have committed to. So the longer term ones we're very excited about, and it may be that after SICSS you connect on those and work on those. But the ones that are in the running for funding will be the group projects that people have prioritized and that have sort of risen to the top through our process over the last couple days.
I have a quick question too.
Sure.
So, can people who are not a part of the quick funded project become a part of the project afterwards? Like after the weekends, can we say, hey, I couldn't work because we were only allowed to work on one project, but now can I join your group? Or is there like, I mean, structure?
So, leadership is encouraged, and in the academic space, those things happen. That's on the team basis. I'm definitely not an authority figure or here to police anything. So, if a research project gets in motion and someone sees a benefit to the addition of a person, that they bring a skill set or an expertise or something to that project, and the group decides they want to do that, that's great. So that's totally in the lane of the team to decide. And I see a question about groups. Yeah, so co-PIs. Yeah, so you totally have co-PIs. I second Regis's point. Regis is actually, I'm gonna shout out Regis. Regis works for sponsored programs, so maybe we can get him to give a presentation about sponsored programs. That'd be great. So you're going to definitely need, in order to file IRB, a faculty member at your campus. So as I said, there's the process that happens here, and then there's whatever you need to do at your campus in order to get your IRB and stuff done. A faculty member absolutely has to be involved. So anytime I put forward an IRB proposal, my advisor's name is on it. Our relationship is he's like, have a great time, do that, let me know what you need me to sign. But other people want to be more involved. It depends on your discipline. But in order to do IRB, you will have to get a faculty member involved, and that may force your hand. Like if you look around the table and one person is an actual faculty member in your group, you may want to make them the PI if they have the experience of filing IRB, and that process can sort of move a little faster with them. If you don't have a faculty member, you should probably talk amongst yourselves about your advisors and such. Other questions? I'm going to turn on my participant list so I can see if there's any hands. And I am, as always, hanging out here all day, sad, wondering what you're all doing, wanting you to come by and say hi. So if I can be helpful, thank you for smiling at that, Nicole. It's very sad, pathetic. So if you all have questions, definitely come by. Yandu's got a question. Thank you.
So this is not related to this funding situation, but if we do the group project similar to the format that we did yesterday, is it possible those little notifications that you send the breakout rooms, is it possible for you to also put those in the Slack channel?
Yes.
Just because it's in like font 2 and then it goes away after 3 seconds, and it's just been hard to keep track of.
Absolutely. So I was peppering you all with all the quotes I forgot to share when you weren't there, and we were sending little reminders. We will make a note. Thank you. It's a great addition to anything we send out to the breakout rooms. We'll also put up on Slack. I have to tell you that right after that I send them, I think of that and I realize that I have no record of them. So it's not even like I can copy them. So we'll try to make sure we do that today. Thank you. Appreciate that, Yandu. Ask and you shall receive. Anything else? I hope to have an announcement about Mathematica funding soon. Stay tuned for that. For those people who are doing an individual path, if you could stick around a little bit so we can chit chat and just make sure we know what you're doing so we can support you. Everyone else, the breakout rooms are open. We've got rooms 1 through like 900. So connect with your team and decide what your lucky number is. 13's mine. That's my jersey number for soccer. I was a soccer player, college. So I don't know if anybody else out there balls, but please head to whatever room you would like to choose, write to each other on Slack. Okay, so Nicole says they'll be in room 9. Maxine says they're in room 4. And we're here if you need us. Seriously, ask for a pony. Maybe I can get you a pony. And if you have sponsored programs questions, go bother Regis. Sorry, Regis. Not IRB. I said sponsored programs. Abiodun will be in room 2. Feel free to come say hi, even if you're not in my group. It's fine. Reach out, says Regis. I can't get into the breakout rooms. That's because they're not open. There you go. Now they're open. Feel free to go say hi to each other in your groups too. You know, you're welcome to jump between rooms. Go say hi. All right, so folks are still here. We're going to assume that you want to check in with us about your individual plans at this point. All right, feel free to raise a hand or just unmute yourself. Amanda, Amber, Ava, can you help me update our spreadsheet as we talk with everyone? So I see Yandu still here. Did you have a question for us, Yandu? Just trying to figure out where to go. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little slow.
That's okay. No, you're not. You're right on time. Right on time, girl. Right on time. And email Akira. Get on that. Just write her and say hi.
I don't have a question, but I wanted to say, I saw someone propose a meditation. I haven't seen anything. I am also a meditation teacher, so I would love to do a session end or before, whenever people want to, like just to calm down and relax and stuff, because I know we're doing high energy mentally work.
Sure. You should put something out, put it up on Slack, or you can make an announcement before our talk at noon to people who are there. And I'd say go ahead and organize it. I think it's a great idea.
Okay. So after the office hours then?
After office hours tonight?
Yeah, whenever, right? Like when would be?
Yeah, whenever you want. So we shut down at 5:30.
Okay.
But put something up, organize it, and we are happy to support it. Whatever you want. You can even do it during office hours because not everybody will be in office hours.
Gotcha. I'll try to do it in Gather Town. Okay,
whatever you want. Sounds great. All right. So I see Regis. I see Ebony. Regis, did you have a question?
Oh no, I'm good right now. I don't know if there was any. You wanted to stick around if we were doing a solo project?
Yeah, I think we're good with you. We have a sense of what you're doing, so I think you're good. And just reach out if I can be helpful.
Thanks, Walter.
And there's a path forward there if you read through the language. We need you to find another current SICSS member.
Gotcha.
Okay. Let me know if you need help.
Will do.
Okay. Hi, Ebony.
Hi. So I just wanted to update you all on my intentions for the week. So I'm looking to work on a solo project. Specifically, I want to work on developing my R competencies.
Okay.
I just sent out an email to the TAs to identify someone who could possibly be available for a block of time tomorrow.
Yes.
From 1 to 4. So I want to dig in and build that skill set so that I can apply and utilize R to amplify my current dissertation research. Yeah, so I need someone to support me with that. So
I would also recommend you reach out to Jay. Remember, he said he's available.
Jay, okay.
Yes, I would write to Jay. You may also want to put something up in the SICSS all office hours.
Okay.
And see, because you may find there are other people that want, you could say, I'm trying to spend some time this week working on my R skills. Anybody else interested? Why don't we get together and work? You can even, watch some of the videos together.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage you to do that. And I'm happy to help amplify it if needed. Great idea. Total support. And we're going to give you a chance, all the people doing solo stuff to do a little presentation also about your experience. So stay tuned. We'll write you about that.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you, Nanette.
All right, see you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Hey, Felix.
Hello.
Sorry, how you
doing? My webcam is not working.
No worries.
I was just sticking around to report in case you guys had any questions. I just sent a follow-up email, but I'm planning to do the project that I'd initially been proposing, but as a
wonderful. Wonderful. And like I said, we're working to see what we can do for solo projects. So stay tuned. I can't promise anything, but I'm given your background and such in your project. I'm excited to see what you come up with, and we'll give you a chance to present a shorter version of your work on Friday also.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, let us know how we can support you. See you later.
Thank you.
Hi, Richmond. I see you there, Richmond, but you are muted. So I'll ask you to unmute and we'll see what happens. I think we're clear on how you're going to spend your time. Very, very clear. So I'm going to try to send you to a room. I'll send you to Hangout room 1. If we don't hear back from you, if you don't respond and accept it, we'll put you in the waiting room. Sending you to Hangout room 1. Hey, there you go. Okay. Thank you all for watching. For more information on SICSS-Howard Mathematica, visit our website, follow us on social media, and join our email list.